Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MilSimUnits.com podcast. I'm your host, as always, C. Brock, and with us here tonight we have several leaders from Reaper's Air Assault, a up-and-coming Arma Reforger unit. With us, we have Taz
Hey, what's going on, guys?
and Jay.
What's going on, everybody?
Well, gentlemen, it's great to have you here on the podcast. We were just kind of chatting before we got started here, just kind of, talking about MilSim and your insights here and the unit. Really looking forward to getting into this one. So, Reforger is such a just a nexus right now of MilSim. Players like influencers, you name it. The whole community is kind of focused on Reforger to a large extent. So, before we get into all the details of what you guys got going in that game, I want to start with you and your background in MilSim. So, Taz and Jay, can you tell the audience here how did you guys get started in MilSim gaming, and how long you've been doing it? How many years are you guys active now?
Oh gosh, Jay, I don't know if you want to go first. Yours
Yeah,
might be shorter than mine.
yeah, mine will be a little shorter. I've only been playing Arma since about the end of 2024. I had kind of dabbled in Squad beforehand, but I wasn't really big into the milsim stuff. I was a different kind of gamer growing up as a kid, I guess you could say. But yeah, over the last year that I've been playing Arma, and I've only been with Reapers as far as units and stuff like that. They were the first one I had found. Um, yeah, I guess it's been a year. It's been a great year. This game's been great. It's got me on a crazy grind, that's for sure.
It's pretty cool. Well, Taz, how about you?
So mine's been probably stemming 7, 8 years. Growing up. I didn't have a console or any kind of gaming thing. I think I had a Wii. I think I had a Wii growing up until I turned 18 and I bought my first Xbox One. And ever since like day one, I bought DayZ and just grinded it. And I loved the whole like immersive RP and the milsims that were involved in that whole console era. And this was just when people were just figuring out the whole like DayZ tools and how to put stuff in a server to make it more immersive. And since then, I've ran a few units in the past, from Insurgency Sandstorm to Squad. That's where me and Jay kind of met. And then eventually we settled down on Arma Reforger and been doing this for about 2 to 3 years.
No kidding. So that's a pretty interesting history between the both of you. And I mean, JD, to my point about Reforger, becoming, kind of a nexus now. I mean, there are a lot of guys who really have never, they might have heard of MilSim like, on Reddit or, on a Steam forum or something like that, but they've never actually had any experiences in that genre, despite all the kind of first person shooter titles going back many years now. That's the thing. We got like, I mean, if you pardon the expression, we got fresh blood like in the community. A lot of people just getting started. And then to your point, Taz, about kind of working through the different titles and experiences. Your history of starting up units. It's an interesting combination of people and backgrounds and just styles and personalities that come together, not only just in MilSim in general, but also on MilSim units. We've got all kinds of people, all kinds of titles here, to represent the greater community. So, um, it's always fascinating. I love to hear people's origin stories. See the commonalities, the differences, but in the end, we all end up here. So it's pretty cool. But with Reaper, I mean, you guys in your name here, Reaper's Air Assault. So I've seen some of your media here, checked out your Discord. You guys are definitely into air assault themed, very air heavy, infantry type ops with a kind of SOCOM flair. So I'm curious to the unit's background. I mean, every unit has its own unique origin story. So can you share, the pivotal event, or the decision, the choice that you made to launch the unit, to get it where it's grown to this point?
Oh gosh, yeah, that goes back probably 3 or 4 years. We This was like back. So how do I word this? I got stationed overseas, and for anyone that's listening or listens that knows what it's like to be stationed overseas, you don't get paid right off the bat. You get something called back pay, and that could be a sweet little check. Um, so I took that money and I bought a PC, and I bought the my first PC game was Squad. And the second I opened up Squad, I was in love. So we started up a MilSim in Squad called Reaper's Regiment, and we had armor, we had mech infantry, we had mortar squad, we had like everything under the sun that every new MilSim owner thinks that they should have, like under the umbrella, right? One of them we had was a air assault unit called Reaper's Air Assault. My buddy running that, he's in the army and he really wanted to go do the air assault stuff.
Hmm.
So I gave him that, and he's a big Halo fan. So I basically grabbed my artist friend. I said, I need you to take the Halo ODST, the shock trooper coming out type of logo. I need you to make that a helicopter nose down with the Reaper logo, and then put Reaper's air assault at the bottom. And she took that and ran with it, blew it out of the water. I love that. Brock, I can send you that if you'd
Mm.
like. Um, and then eventually, Squad kind of died out because the ICO dropped. If you know anything about the ICO, it overhauled all of their infantry mechanics, and it just, to me, became kind of like second game. Right, I needed
Gotcha.
something fresh, and then I landed on Arma 3, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool.
Mm.
But then my friend was like, hey, Reforger is the new thing. All right. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll give it a try. And ever since I tried it, I was in love. And I was like, all right, well, I'd love to start a MilSim up again because, ours kind of died out because the squad dying too. And so we're like, well, we want something fresh. We don't want to be Reaper's Regiment. That's too generic. But our vision is no one really joins a unit unless the name sticks to them, and it's got to be unique. It's got to be one of a kind.
Mm.
Um, you see all these other milsims out there. 75th Rangers. You see SEAL Team 6. The badass special forces milsims. People flock to that, right? So we
Sure.
have to have a name that's like something that catches people's eyes, and we don't really want to settle down on one specific unit IRL. So we stuck with Reaper's Air Assault, and we took that patch and made it our logo. And yeah, we've been running with it for the last 2 to 3 years since then.
Well, that's a pretty cool story. Like you said, just kind of, making your own name, just creating your own experience here, and not so much getting focused on one particular, outside brand. Just keeping it original. I think that's really cool. And I'm checking out some of your media here that you sent me. Really, I mean, you guys are creative. Just not only in what I've seen from your ops, the clips on your Discord and whatnot, but also just the artistry, some of your recruiting media. Like, there's some really good original stuff here. So kudos to you. I don't have experience in squad. I come from mostly Arma. I spent a lot of time in Arma 3, so we could talk all night about that. But definitely, Arma Reforger is where it's at. People are pumped about Arma 4 coming out, hopefully next year sometime. But this is the platform to work out the bugs in the engine. Make sure the mods are somewhat squared away so we don't have that downtime waiting for the mods to catch up with the communities like we did with Arma 3. So the sky is wide open, and it sounds like you guys are really you just not only just having a good time together, but really riding that wave of just opportunities here that the community has unlocked. And yeah, it's like we can laugh now with COVID, but yeah, I remember those days where it seemed like you really did have nothing better to do than get online and see what's going on and spend your creative energy online, in a game. And for better or for worse, it sounds like it has really helped you guys develop yourselves and the relationships with the other guys that you've attracted along the way. So that's really cool. So
Yeah, it's I don't know about Jay, but I've learned so much crap from running milsims, running groups,
mm,
playing different games, seeing how other units do their stuff too. It's like, I don't think if you took our Discord and looked back 6 years, it would not have at all looked like we have it right now.
mm.
It wouldn't have even looked close.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's the thing. Live and learn, as I like to say. Yeah, that's the thing about MilSim. you really can unlock a lot of real world actualized potential. It's like, what we do in, in our downtime as a hobby, just with our imaginations, like we can really translate that into some practical, applicable stuff that we can share with people. So another one of those positives about the community. There's, I talk about niches and just personalities. There's something special here. I always say that, but it's amazing what we see, come out of the creative minds of people who really sit down and focus their talents together.
100%. I think that's my favorite part about being in the MilSim community is seeing all the different things people come up with.
Yeah.
Kind of seeing the twist people put on things. It's really interesting.
Yeah, yeah, I hear that. Just kind of like a firefight, everyone's got their different perspectives. You get
Yeah,
into the AAR, you're like, "Oh, wait, that was you? I thought that was, so and so over there." You get the whole, like, you get the big picture coming together. Everyone's got their
exactly.
their kind of inputs, and it brings out the best. So, I mean, I've seen, you guys got some clips up there. I mentioned some hellacious firefights, as I like to see. I always like the cinematic stuff. Like to see the lead fly and hear all the explosions and the reports. So, how do you guys maintain a balance between like that deep immersion, having like the really intense moments in server, and then, again, at the same time, maintaining that experience where everyone's, enjoying themselves, where it's good for everyone in the whole unit.
Yeah, I think we balance that pretty well. Me coming from starting out as a random in a server and just meeting, I think it was Volky, one of our old owners, and meeting him and joining the unit as an outsider, not as an original founder, definitely has made like my mind clear on why I've stayed with this unit because they don't go as far as some other units, where you're going to be doing push-ups or you've got to be at this training at this time 2 days 3 days a week, otherwise you're not going to be in the unit. No, like we keep that balance to where real life comes first. We understand that through and through every time in every situation, and then at the same time in our units we like to keep that good like radio communication is a huge thing we focus on. That's like one thing that immerses people, and same with squad movements and just anything overall. Communication is how we like to keep our immersion deep, but then not allowing the ranks to take too much effect on that at the same time. Everyone's the same when we're in a Discord call, um, but at the end of the day, we're not going to make you do push-ups and jumping jacks and stuff like that. But just
Gotcha.
overall, a good environment. Trying to think of a word I can't think of.
Well, definitely, you
Damn.
guys are focusing on the essentials, shoot, move, communicate, without making people miserable. It's like
Yeah.
I heard people, like I heard a real life vet talk about Ranger School being where you go to learn how to be miserable, and I'm like thinking some guys, they're on server, they're really taking that a little too far. It's like we all want that realism and that immersion, but we're not here to be miserable. That we're here to have a good time.
Yeah.
So I
We
can
all get on
respect
the
that.
game to escape that stress.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
here.
Yeah, well, that's
I
great.
love what those guys are doing, but I couldn't do that. I go to work, I come home, I don't want no, no, thank you.
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
it goes above that. It's more to it than that. So yeah, there's a place and a time to embrace the suck,
yeah.
but not all the time. So good stuff. Now, looking at I mean, that's the thing. Some of your clips have some radio comms there, ground to air, infantry comms, you name it. I'm curious about, learning more about, your brotherhood, what it is that makes the Reaper's identity, so tight. So can you talk about any specific practices, and, any experiences you've had in events where your unit was able to build, a tighter knit community, especially, for those new guys that are new to MilSim or just joining the unit.
Yeah, I could talk about that. So basically, we like Jay was talking about, we don't let rank run everything, right?
Mm.
So it's like we tell our members when they first join, one, we talk to you face to face just right off the excuse me. So you have to go through a whole briefing, just kind of like have a one-on-one conversation with a recruiter so they can gauge if you have a good personality for the group and everything like that. And they tell you right off the bat, hey, listen, we're not gonna make you do this. We're not gonna make you do that. but still have a level of respect for the rank because those people are volunteering their time to be in that position. And who knows, you might be in that position too, because it doesn't take you 6 months to climb ranks in our server. We had people join right off the bat, and then within 3 days, they're a squad leader because they're showing that they want to be here and they want to participate. And I just think that brings everyone together, especially when you have the whole like life comes first. Because we've had guys who are platoon leaders and they can't show up to ops all the time because they've got kids, you know.
Yep.
But at the same time, we also bring that schedule to them and have it set in stone. That's like, hey, these are our hours: Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays at this time. This is when it's slotted for. And we also like to announce our events a week or 2 weeks in advance, so people will come in and be like, "Hey, I can be part of this because it meets my time zones, it meets my schedule, and these guys are relatively almost always online, and they don't, they're not going to make rank rule their life over me, basically." And it just brings people together.
Yeah, well, you mentioned the word respect there, and I mean it's a U.S. Army core value. I mean, it's one of those things that really is universal, at least if you want to have a well organized and well functioning unit, any kind of group, friends for that matter. I mean, respect is a two-way street. And, it sounds like you guys are keeping it real. I mean, you maintain your standards. I mean, you can see that in your operations, in the organization that you have on your Discord there. But you guys, obviously you guys are coming together as, one as human beings, but also in the course of your work together, developing those relationships through respect. So it's one of those things that can make or break a unit. Their whole attitude here. It's one thing to have really good Zeuses or game masters, really cinematic moments, but if you want to hold it together long term and like we were talking about, bring out the best in people. You know, you got to stick to those values. That's what makes the difference at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's all we're about too. Is because at the end of the day, for us, it's just a game. It's just Discord. So we don't let the milsim. We have a fine line between milsim and immersion and real life. Right. I know that's a fine line, but I said like three different things. There's like two lines, and we like to jump between the categories.
Yeah, it's one of those army charts.
Yeah. So like my whole thing is like when I run the unit, it's like me as a leader, I need to make sure that my guys know that I respect them, not as real life military guys, right? And I worded that a little weird. Obviously, I respect the real life military, right? But at the same time, I'm not going to treat my unit like the real military, where if I say something, they should just say Roger and do it. If they ask me why, I'm going to tell them, hey, like, this is why I would like you to do it. During ops, we try to tell them, hey, listen, during ops for immersion purposes, just respectfully shut up and do it. It's
Right.
right. Like it's got to be a fine line. But like if we're just chilling in VC or we're doing a training, and I say, hey, come over here and let's focus, let's do some training and whatnot. They're like, why? We're like, well, we don't want people to get distracted. You're over there dancing and emoting, and we've had that. And we're like, we're trying to make sure that you are competent. If you come up to a milk jug that has wires poking out of it, you kind of can know either who to call or how to handle it. So we try to give that level of respect and answer if they say why, and or if they're like, because at the end of the day, it's just a game. We're all human beings, and it's just Discord.
Roger that. Well, that's pretty cool. So, I mean, you guys were talking about your experiences here, how you brought the unit together in Reforger. Reflecting on the Reaper's journey here, what do you think is one change that you guys made, like, in terms of the unit structure, your focus in operations, or your approach to your training or your events? Is there one like change that you made that you think really like kind of reinvented the unit and taught you a lesson along the way?
Oh gosh, that one for me, it would be basically I'm a perfectionist, and like I said, I've been at this for 7, 8 years, and I've learned so much. I've asked people for help, and I've been told to screw off at the same time.
Mm.
So I'm a big perfectionist now when it comes to milsims and Discord. So I try to I've learned not to have my hands in the kitchen too much. So we've got a lot of stuff set in stone. We've evolved to basically the second you join, you have to open up a ticket to get a brief. We never had that at the start. Um, and that we've incorporated the whole face-to-face conversation with people. It's like, hey, how are you? Oh, I see you play Reforger. How long you been playing? And then, oh, this is how the unit works. We never had that. We evolved into that. And then I mistakenly, and Jay can tell you it was bad. I was like, hey, this isn't working. We're going to switch this to basically let everyone in. And now, if you want to join the MilSim part, you can do that separate. We basically made our Discord at one point be like, um, if you spent time in VC, you'd rank up just like if you delivered supplies in Reforger.
Hmm.
It was a really weird time. So,
Yes,
w-
very.
um, and that was an old unit. We we did that, and then when we opened up this new one, we basically went and evolved back to our roots and was like, okay, we're going to keep the brief. We're going to set people in stone to basically handle things that Taz doesn't need to handle because I was just getting stressed out and burnt out like all other MilSim owners probably do. And
Mhm.
so we've evolved into having, Jay take some of the load or Morbius or Rabbit and all these other people that have come in and joined the Reapers that are like, hey, Taz, we're as passionate of this unit as you are. We want to help. So we've evolved. I've evolved myself into putting my trust into other people because like everyone else, you want to see the unit succeed. So you want to make sure everything is being perfect. But making sure everything is perfect and micromanaging are two separate things. And we've evolved to basically make sure we're back to our roots and we have people that help out that are as passionate as other people to help make sure the unit succeeds. I don't know if Jay wants to say something or not. I kind of rambled.
You kind of touched on it all, yeah. Just kind of making sure everyone's contributing. Everyone's got their piece of the pie in the unit, and that was kind of a thing in the past that didn't really happen. There was two leaders, and they kind of took everything, all the load, and now we have specific guys that take over your infantry, and then air, and then HQ, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's definitely been a big help and a big de-stressor.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's also a big step in leadership and in unit evolution, like you mentioned, because at first when you're starting out, it's kind of small. Everyone's real. It's everyone's tight knit. Comms are easy to manage. It's easy to take ownership of big pieces of that pie you were mentioning here. But yeah, the art of delegation, that's one of those lessons that I think every experienced leader has gone through, the hard way or not. And it really does make a difference. You see that in real life, and you see it most certainly in MilSim. It's one thing to be organized, but when everyone, has a stake in it, they can take some ownership. They really they give more than a lot of people would ever expect or could ever ask for. It's really amazing, how people can invest their own talents and their as well as their time into making these communities a success. So really great. I mean, just to hear about your growth, the growth of your leadership, and the good times that you're sharing with the people that are coming along the way. I mean, that's I was thinking here. It's yeah, you guys don't take just anybody. I mean, you got standards. They got to kind of sign on to an extent and know what they're getting into because it's not it's not a pub server by any stretch. You guys, you really do have a good balance. So,
Brother,
um,
you probably would. You wouldn't know how deep that rabbit hole goes with doing breeds. I don't know what I can say on here, but we've had people join and then they say, hang on, give me 1 second. And then in the background of your mic, you can hear them doing some like possibly if witnessed IRL some illegal crap.
yeah,
And we're just
yep,
like, yeah, nope, you're not the right fit for us. All right, goodbye.
yep. That's the thing. I mean,
um,
it's a big community, but
yeah.
Very.
One really really big thing that we incorporated. I'll try not to give too much away because we do like to gatekeep this part.
hmm,
We've evolved in thinking outside the box and trying to do our own little thing in the span of how our Discord unit works. And by that I mean is we've found bots that allow us to filter out the people that would join and not do a thing,
Hmm.
right?
Okay.
Uh, so what's cool about that is if you join the server and you don't open up a ticket to receive a brief of how we operate and fill out an application within 7 days, that bot will auto kick you out.
Mm,
Yep. And then at the same
gotcha.
time, we ask people, hey, listen, this is our activity expectation. However, comma, we don't discriminate against low attendance. If you can only show up on Tuesdays or Fridays or just talk in VC now and then or talk in chat, that's still activity in our book, because that bot also checks to see if people have messaged in chat or joined a VC in a time period span. And we tell all of our members that time period span. So there's no like, hidden fees or small print, right?
Right.
Um, and we also tell them at the same time, our number one rule is life, job, family come first. But just know the bot isn't there for us to keep a microscope over you. It's primarily there to filter out the people that would join and then not do anything for 2 to 3 months. Because in my mind, that's something that kills milsims. It's just the overwhelmingness of those people that come in that are inactive, and it's just like you have a discord of 500 people but you can only pull 10 people per op. That doesn't it doesn't look good from a
Sure.
outside perspective, right?
Yeah.
So one thing that we did when we started up this unit was like, how can we fix that problem? And we dug and dug and dug and finally found something that worked, to where it's like we could have them filter out the people that would join and not do anything. We could filter out the people that would basically join the unit, get through the cracks, and then still be inactive. Um, as well, I lost my train of thought. As well as basically, we we gained 100 members in 1 month.
Mm,
We've only been a server since January 7th, right?
right.
Um, and so I think that bot has helped us out tremendously, because being a brand new server, you're filtering out the people that wouldn't be here 90% of the time, which I think is one reason why we're able to pull 20 plus people per op and only being 100 people, 100 member server, is
Mm.
because of the different things that we thought about and evolved into.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's interesting using the technology, to your advantage there to kind of I don't know, kind of skim the foam maybe, um,
Yeah.
because obviously, there's all kinds of other bots out there working their way across servers, scammers and who knows, like I said, we got some questionable folks, if they're even real people, kind of making their way around. So you got to protect yourself, and like you say, in your own words, just kind of focus on the people that are going to be there to one extent or another. They're going to remain active even if they're not, kind of gung ho day by day. They're at least not kind of lurking in the background for no good reason. Who knows what they're up to if they're not, even talking to people. That's not contributing anything. So yeah, that's an interesting just approach to keeping it real, but keeping your comms legitimate as well. So definitely you don't want to look like all talk and then you got guys out there that try to run big servers, big discords, but yeah, they're not pulling 20 plus guys per operation. So you've got a good balance going there, on that regard as well. So I want to ask about your interaction with MilSim units. I mean, yeah, you guys are fairly new in the grand scheme of things, but you've hit the ground running. You've got a dedicated base of soldiers, of members that are contributing. All. I mean, that's the thing. You guys do some serious combined arms, work here. So this isn't a flash in the pan. But I want to ask about your relationship with MilSim units because I mean, we've been working with the longtime units, the guys that go back across multiple titles, back a decade now when you think about it. But we're here for the newer units, the new leaders as well, so that they they can get their piece of the pie because there really is room at the table for everyone now. What is one thing or one way that you think Milsim Units has surprised you in terms of its impact on Reaper's growth or your reputation in the community?
So I just want to start by answering that question of like, we are technically new, but we're also risen from the ashes. So,
Right.
like I said, we had the whole Reapers Regiment thing squad, and then we moved to Arma Reforger. While we were doing that thing, I was stationed overseas with my second in charge, who was like a brother to me, and we were running that, and he was overseas with me, and we actually PCS at the same exact time after a year of running that unit. And like Jay was saying, it was really just me and him running that unit, or at least like, excuse me, not running the unit, but like doing everything. Like, oh no, we got it, we can do that, we got it, we can do it, right?
Mm.
So when we left and PCS'd, and PCSing took 6 to 8 months to actually finally finalize, everything just died, right? Everything, they went inactive. Things weren't happening at all without us, as well as like without other people. They're like, well, Taz and Volk are gone, so I might as well just dip too because they're not going to come back anytime soon, right? So eventually, myself and Jay, we missed the nostalgia of Reapers, and so we started it back up. And I don't think we would have been where we are right now without MilSim units because um, I saw this in another unit that I was like playing with and just spending my time here and there with, and I was like, dude, this is dishboard, if you know what that is,
Yep. Oh yeah.
but for milsims. This is sick. And I fell in love instantly with milsim units, and I think it's a very it's been we've been able to take a microscope and hone in on exactly a category of recruitment through people specifically looking for reforger milsims or promoting your milsim through reforger, and like not more so bumping it but voting for it. That was a very, very, in my mind, amazing take on the whole Discord category thing. Like Discord does, the whole bump thing,
Yep.
but the vote thing was just that was. I think that's amazing because it makes it to where your activity of your members determines how up in the chain your milsim would be,
Right.
basically. And I don't think we'd be here honestly without it. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That it's pretty cool because that's the one you can put the Twitch links on it too, can't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That is another really cool thing too. There's a couple guys in the unit that like to stream, so whenever they stream, it shows right up. And yeah, I know there's a couple guys that have joined through that.
we we've had to take a few guys off that though. They've only been one guy was only streaming Fortnite, and we're like, all right, buddy.
That's false advertising.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's exactly what we said.
That's funny. Well, I mean, we always appreciate it. I mean, being a perfectionist, I never, led a unit as an owner, as, the officer in charge, but certainly did my time as a MilSim NCO, NCOIC. So, yeah, you want everything to be perfect. You want it to be as polished and just, as realistic. I mean, as far as what you got going is possible when you're trying to show off, your experiences to everyone else. So anything that we can do to help, I mean, like I said, I think I mentioned, before we started the podcast, the good, bad, ugly, we want to take it all, and anything that we can do, we want to maximize it, we want to multiply it. So, um, we can help even more. But yeah, voting, that's the thing. The most active units, the guys that have their members getting on the website, getting on the Discord every day, um, you know, those are the ones that get the most attention because each of those members are boosting their own respective units up the chain, getting them a little bit higher to the top. So it can be competitive. You can see the votes kind of seesaw throughout the day, if you take the time to look. But yeah, it does make a difference, and I'm really glad to hear about the results. That's the thing. It can be tough, because there really is a lot of competition. But if you got something worth sharing, and you guys, your people, they do their part to help, to get the word out. Whether it's Twitch or anything else you got going, it really does help. So really outstanding to hear. So, with that, y- what I talk about good, bad, ugly. Is there anything that we can improve on? I mean, what's one thing that you would want to see, better, or something new that maybe we haven't thought about, something that you've, maybe brainstormed on. I mean, any kind of advice that you can offer us to, like I said, kind of maximize that experience.
Oh gosh, I don't have a single thing. Like I said, you guys have taken my, I wouldn't call it history, but like my, oh, what's the word I'm thinking of, Jay? Not history. I can't think of it. You guys, I will just use the word history. You
Hmm.
guys have taken my history with using Dishboard as a primary source of recruitment and blown it out of the water of what I could even just like come up in my dreams of what MilSim like Dishboard
Yeah.
love child could make. Basically,
Yeah.
that's where like it's because it's like, dude, you guys have so many things on here that I wouldn't even thought about in 80 plus years of doing this crap. Like I wouldn't have even thought about the whole like adding your unit streamers. That's just something that's like amazing, and it gives your members a sense of, okay, I'm part of them, but at the same time I'm not just a small little private. I'm actually someone who's helping promote and doing my part, because that's what we tell people too when they join is put your best foot forward. And if you have an idea, let us know. The worst thing we're going to say is, okay, how would that look? We will not say no. So if someone came into my unit and was like, hey, I want to help promote the server better, I'd be like, all right, how would you do that? Be like, well, I'm a Twitch streamer. I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
do I have the platform for you? And I was, you know, and it's just like so many tools on this thing that like I would never have thought of. So no, I don't have any feedback for you guys with this, because it's already for me pitch perfect, and I think it's just only going to get better.
I
Couldn't agree
respect
more.
that. No, thank you both. That's the thing, LaFlash is the brains here. He's the brains and the brawn. I mean, he works hard on just putting it all together. He really, we all want to make this kind of a one-stop shop for anybody who likes running and gunning on any platform. On a more serious note. And Jake, our dev, he takes the lead on our coding and just the website and the Discord, and our mods that come up, and make sure the comms are good, and like you guys do, you kind of you skim that fluff and make sure everybody's legit, when they come on board. It really is a team effort, and we couldn't do it without unit leaders, unit members. That's the whole thing. When we all come out, and make a show of it, anything's possible. So I'm looking forward to the future. We have the new website up and running now. A lot of good things going to pull us through 2026. But we're always trying to innovate. We want to keep ahead of the curve and make sure that whatever the needs are across the titles, across the different genres of milsim, we'll be here to to keep those connections going. So going forward, anything that you need, and this goes for other unit leaders, on the Discord. If you guys have any issues, open a support ticket with us, and we'll work with you because we want you to succeed as much as you do. So I'm definitely looking forward to keeping all those comms going as well.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, talking about 2026, I always like to look ahead, especially when, you mentioned Rising from the Ashes. We've got a young, ambitious unit that is dug in its heels and is really just, lockstep moving forward with its people. Um, let's take a glance a year from now into 2027. What do you think is, one major goal? Like, what's the biggest thing that you want Reapers to achieve, and what's your plan to make it a reality?
Jay, you want to talk on that
Um,
real quick?
yeah, I mean, we like to envision big things, obviously.
Mm,
There's a lot of units out here that are doing some pretty cool things. Like 75th has public servers, 82nd has public servers for like PvE ops and stuff like that, and even their PvP stuff too. That is something we've discussed in the future is doing like a unit versus unit PvP kind of events, which is obviously kind of hard to do if you don't have consistent people and another unit to do it with as well.
mm.
But yeah, we're kind of just riding the wave right now. Considering how new we are, our vision isn't fully fledged out at the moment, but I guess if you want to say anything in a year from now, it'd be try to get some unit v unit action, or even opening up a public server of some sort.
Yeah, that's That's definitely one of our long-term goals. One of our short-term goals is to have, we want to stay consistent with pulling the 20 people per op and eventually get up there, to 40 or 60, right?
Hmm.
That's a goal I think every milsim shares is you want to pull the numbers to bring the best immersion and excitement to a video game that could take so many different routes, right? One of the ways that we're achieving that is when we first started, the whole month of January was just random ops here and there, random stuff on like a weekend. Like, hey, in our server we have a role called Arma Last Minute Event, and people can react to it when they first join if they would like to be pinged on that. Be like, hey, at Arma Last Minute Event, let's get on in 3 hours. Who's going to be on in 3 hours to do a random op, right? So we kind of keep the activity alive at the same time, and then through that month of January, we're like, all right, what do we want to see soon? Right? What's our goal? What's our vision? And we discussed and decided that February would be our MilSim FTX month. So this month we're going through our FTX, getting ready for um, our upcoming MilSim deployment. Right? So we're running the guys through different stuff like CQB, convoy escorts with helicopters, getting more proficient at our rope rappelling faster or assaulting from a rooftop down to the bottom floor, different stuff like that. And right now we're coming up on day 3 of our FTX because we only do it every weekend. We just got done with our second one where we had to assault through trench warfare, so that was pretty cool.
Hmm.
And then moving into March, March 7th, we'll start our 4-month MilSim campaign until June 27th. We have an entire storyline written of 16 to 20 parts because some of the parts will have an alpha and they'll have a bravo. So some parts will be like recon, a little bit of action on like a Friday, and people can come in and join that if they'd like. We don't expect a big turnout because again, people want to shoot stuff, they, but at the same time, it's cool for those people that just want to come in and do some sneaky shit, and
Right.
recon the area and be part of the story. And then Saturday comes in and it's the main event. It's the action. You're being part of the story that people have written, but you're helping it play out. And there's plot twists. There's, you know, I wouldn't call it sadness because it's not a love story, but there's plot twists and there's action and there's immersion, and it's something that people can come in and they're like, okay, there's a story written, I'm part of it, I'm helping like the flow happen, but at the same time I'm still locked into that immersion, right? And that's something that we wanted to do since day one, is we wanted to bring a deployment campaign and have that story. And then after that, like Jay said, in the future, we want to possibly open up a PvP server if that brings in more people and we can actually sustain the numbers. And then just keep doing that rotation where it's like, 2 to 3 months of random stuff here and there as a team, and then move into FTX, and then move into the whole deployment campaign all over again with a brand new story. What's really cool about that, though, this would be my final thought on that, is one of our goals is we wanted to bring our own thing to our milsim, right? We don't want to like use other people's stuff or other people's maps. It's not fair to us. It's not fair to them. They worked hard to make that for their unit. We want to work hard for our unit, right? And we've gone through trial and error finding people to help make that happen. As you probably mentioned already, there's a lot of scammers on Arma, right? A
Hmm.
lot of scammers. We were fortunate enough to be messaged by the gentleman who creates the WCS maps, like
Hmm.
Zarinchny. I think I'm saying that wrong, but
Hmm.
that's the Russia-Ukraine map.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, you have a deployment campaign coming up, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You got a story?" I was like, "Yeah, I got a story. It's not fully written yet. It's written now, obviously, but he's like, all right, I make you a map." I was like, "Oh, I can't pay you, dude." And he's like, "Oh, it's against TOS to pay me anyways." I'm like, "You're legit. I love you. All
Mm.
right, cool." And I was like, "All right, what do you got in mind?" And we just been going back and forth, evil scientist in the laboratory, dude. And it's like, he's like, "Okay, listen, like if the guys do this, take screenshots because the next op I can go in and anything that they dug up or dug like the with the shovel with the mounds, right? I'll go in, I'll put real life, Ukraine, Russia trenches. I'll like do all this stuff for the map and everything. So like the next op they go into, if they have to like defend the trench, there's an actual trench there, not just something that they left. Or if they go in and they destroy this building, I'll go in and actually make it all rubble and actually permanently destroyed for the rest of you using that map." And I was
Wow.
like, holy crap.
Yeah.
You're so meeting a bunch of people that have helped out our unit so much is like helped us achieve or soon to achieve our short-term goals, and meeting more people will just help us achieve our long-term goals too. So yeah.
Gotcha. That's pretty badass. But yeah, I mean, that's a lot of good planning, but also a very solid kind of follow through. I mean, looking at the short term, you get your numbers up. I mean, you're giving people options, and you're giving the experiences that a lot of people are looking for when they get into Reforger for the first time. But yeah, looking long term with your relationship with the greater community. I mean, that's solid. It's how you kind of cover all bases. You're looking at the small picture and the large picture there, and that's what kind of breathes life and sustains growth in a healthy unit. So, sounds like
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of promise and a lot of things to look forward to. Going through 26 into 27. Now, I saw on your Discord there was something you did. There was a mention of joint op. I don't know if it was an official operation, but I know you. I mean, you guys, you have experience in other units. You're kind of you're making your way in the community. In Reforger. So, is there any I mean, and just getting your own custom. Talk about leaving your mark. I mean, actually, influencing the whole development of a terrain. That's pretty incredible in itself. But looking forward, I mean, are there any collaborations with other units, or looking back for that matter, anything that you've learned, something new that you hadn't thought of before, hadn't seen, anything that's expanded your perspective? I mean, it sounds like you guys you've made some memorable connections already. Any kind of wisdom that has helped Reapers, or that you think could help other units out there that might be listening to the podcast?
Mm. Shay, what you got?
Um,
Sorry, I'm just trying to. I like to talk, and I'm just trying to let Jay talk a little bit too,
Well,
because
no,
he's
you're good.
as big
hey,
as
I'm
a
this
part of the
thinking.
unit as I
yeah,
am.
this is a conversation,
You're
not
good.
interrogation. So you guys, yeah, we're here. I'm here to pick your brain.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
100%.
really I don't know. I really don't have anything on that. I'm not gonna lie. I can't think of anything. Just been
Yeah.
yeah, go for it, Taz.
I was gonna say, like, I like to pop into other servers now and then, just kind of see what they're up about. I do my best not to be scummy. Obviously, I don't want to steal other people's ideas, but there's the little things here and there that you kind of can pick up from other people, especially in being in this server, MilSim Hub, where it's like you have access to talk to other units
Yep.
yourself, right? Because like one big thing that people dread when they do a MilSim is like spreadsheets, right? It's
Yep.
it's
Yep.
something that like it's very useful, but holy crap, it's time consuming. And I think I dropped a message in here when I first started this unit back up. I said, okay, who can share me their spreadsheet, because I'm dying for ideas. And there was one guy who ran a ranger regiment. I don't remember the number, and he shared me his entire spreadsheet, and I learned a lot from that one spreadsheet. Like, I wasn't looking to copy and paste his spreadsheet. I was looking to see how he coded it, see how he organized it, and gain inspiration from that as well. As well as I'm a big fly boy, right? I like to fly helicopters, and so I've reached out to other infantry units out there, and I'm like, hey, would you guys like to come over and do joint ops? Because we just started off, and we mainly fly helicopters. We don't really have an established infantry yet. How would you like to come over and help, run an operation with that? And we were fortunate enough to find one that primarily did infantry, and we primarily did helicopters. And we just, after running 2 or 3 ops together, we're like, okay, we actually work very well together. And one of them on the other side proposed. They said, hey, why don't we just come over and join you guys? Because you already have an established Discord. You're paying for the bots. You have an established server. You have the mods all set up. Like, we we feel that we could just come over and be part of you and run your infantry. You continue doing air and everything like that. And it's been like an amazing impact and connection that we made, because it made our unit stronger. And other people that um, are in their own units as well as made our unit stronger too. Like the ones that spread that shared the spreadsheets and stuff like that. Because that,
Mm.
I hate that.
Yep.
I really
Yeah.
do.
Necessary
Oh,
evil.
but luckily we've learned a lot from other units, and Google is our best friend because we've learned how to code them and make it to where it actually tracks different things. So all we gotta do is go in there and make sure it's up to date with the people's names and track to make sure that when they joined, and it automatically tells us how long they've been part of the unit, so we can give them those different awards and ribbons that they achieve, such as like 1 month in the unit, 6 months, and 1 year. But I don't think we would have known any of that stuff without making the connections through MilSim Hub or other MilSim units, because I didn't know anything about spreadsheets or how to code, and I don't think I would have learned anything without MilSim Hub as well as the connections we made. So yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. It does make a difference. Those kind of details. But that's what really sets Bilsum apart from just the casual kind of shooter games. And that's again, that's the whole point of us being here to make those connections, bring people together, so we can learn. Yeah, definitely. You guys are you've kind of given a testament of your originality and your respect for other people's hard work in their own units, but. There are some things it's just kind of common knowledge, you could say. If you know who to talk to and which examples to learn from. So really outstanding to hear. So I mean, we've covered a lot already. Really great look into Reapers here. Just your growth, your evolution as a unit, and just the kind of positive outlook that you have going forward. I want to ask, how has been, um, or how has it been, as a part of Reapers, in the leadership, it's have you learned anything from that in this iteration that weren't really sure of when you first started, whether it's teamwork or leadership? I mean, you covered a lot, but what's like a major shift in your own kind of perspectives here as leaders, since you started this unit, and got it going to where it is now?
Mhm. I would say really quick, is let people do what they're good at. Because for me, flying a helicopter is what I love to do in Arma Reforger. Loved it. I did it mainly in squad. I told myself I mainly wanted to do it in Reforger, right? And then I'm IRL Air Force, right? I'm
Mm.
not Army. I do not know, or a Marine. I do not know anything about infantry. The only thing I do know is how to qualify my weapon and shoot 36 rounds every year, or however many rounds it is, right? So, um, people coming in, they're like, "Hey, I'm Army IRL," and I'm like, "Hey, cool." And then after so long of running the unit, I shifted my perspective, and I was like, okay, I can't keep trying to run infantry. I don't know what I'm doing. I need to realize that. So I shifted my teamwork and my leadership to guys that knew how to do it. And I think we've got a solid bunch right now of like guys that actually know like kill boxes and all sorts of acronyms that I don't feel comfortable saying because I'll probably embarrass myself because they'll say things that I'm like, cool, bro. I'm just going to fly my heli above you and let you know where the enemy are. you know? Um, yeah. Jay, what'd you get?
I think it's been an interesting change because, like I said before, I came from just a random dude in the server that randomly met one of the owners, and now I'm in a leadership position for the new coming of the unit. So it's been cool to see the other side of it and being able to work on teamwork with all the pilots and stuff. Because I like to, I'm the same as Taz. I'm a flyboy in the game. All
Mm.
I do is fly. So anything ground wise, I have no idea what's going on. But yeah, it's been cool because we have IRL JTACs that are in our server and IRL artillery guys that are in our server. So learning that side of things that happens, in real life that you can translate into the game, and then also have other people come in and learn that as well and call that in, and you don't have any part of it, and you're just hearing it. It's really cool to see that kind of teamwork happen in the server versus with guys that are in military and not in military. I think
Mm.
it brings together a good group of people, and then obviously being leadership and being able to like kind of talk these guys through these things and teach them new things and watch them learn and get better at things is always a great time. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah,
It's
that's it.
it's it's super funny to see an IRL JTAC or a CCT guy
Mm.
just be like, "Hey, you fly helicopters in the game. So if I call in this, right, and they're like, I don't know what that is, right? Because we've had pilots do that, and the CCT or the JTAC are like just turn into a kid in a candy store because they're like, oh, let me teach you some
Yep.
stuff. Like it's so funny to watch,
Yeah.
dude. It's so funny to see brand new members that are like, 18, 19 years old. They're going to college. They have no IRL military experience, and then they join us, and they run into like I won't say his name, but they run they run into one of our actual JTAC guys, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I fly helicopters." And the JTAC's like, "Oh, okay, cool. Do you know about this?" And the guy's like, "No, what is that?" And they're like, "Oh, sit down and listen to the story, young one." And it's like so funny to watch.
Ask them to read back a 5 or a 9 line. It's like ancient dialect. They've never seen it before.
And then once it clicks in that pilot's mind, it's like euphoria, or is it euphoria or eureka or whatever?
Euphoric.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool to watch because we've got new pilots that come in and they're like, "Yeah, I know how to fly." I'm like, "Okay, buddy." And they
Yeah.
think they do because they mainly do it in PvP where they have to like fly low and then barrel roll the heli and then land, which is cool. You can fly, right? But then when they come in here and they got the IRL JTAC or the CCT or the IRL like artillery guy that can call in those 5 or 9 lines, and they kind of have like a oh shit moment, like, right? It's not funny to watch them freeze, that's never funny, but it's cool and it's funny to teach them because it's just fun all around to teach them new
Yeah.
things.
Watching their egos go through the roof when they finally read back their first 5 line and they're really
Yeah.
confident about it, there's no better feeling. I'm not gonna lie. I love training people.
Mm.
In real life, that's all I do. Train people for my work, so I love doing it in the game.
Yeah, that's outstanding. I mean, and you put a whole new perspective on what you mentioned earlier about delegation, about finding the right people for the job. You guys are actually you got people coming in recognizing their skills and their abilities from the get-go, and of course incorporating them into the unit where they're making a difference right there, lockstep with you. That's really cool. So I mean, yeah, that's it. You really can learn a lot in MilSim. It's like we talked about COVID. Like, yeah, you had nothing better to do, but even today, like with the developments, the organization and just the people coming, into the community, there is so much to learn, so much to teach. So, and that's important too, that you're sharing your strengths, your abilities as well, to the other members coming up after you, because that's part of the community, part of the connections. At least it should be. So really outstanding to hear. So you mentioned, some of your streamers, and that's it definitely. We've got some tools for our public affairs offices across the different MilSim units out there. Let's say that you guys are on server, or whatever the case may be, whether it's training, combat operation, all the above. If you could live stream one moment, one aspect of Reaper's operations to a global audience, what is it that you would choose to highlight and why?
Oh gosh, Jay, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I've got a couple different things in my
the
head.
the Operation Red Wing.
Mm.
Yeah.
That one was crazy. We had so I was talking about joint ops, right?
Yeah.
And so I was fortunate enough to talk to some of their the other units leaders before they came over and joined our unit. And they were IRL military and they wanted to base some of their operations off of IRL stuff, but with a little bit of um spin, I guess. They didn't want to make it exactly real life because they felt that'd be a little disrespectful, obviously, right?
Hmm.
So, but they wanted to use it as, oh my gosh, what is the word? Inspiration. There we go. Inspiration
Sure.
of
Yeah.
how they wanted their operation to look and run and everything like that. And so, one of the operations that they did was based off of the accounts of Red Ring, right? So people went into a town in their op, went into a town and they were trying to find a high ranking leader or something like that. And then we came up with the idea that a Chinook would come in and pick them up after they got that leader. And then as it came in, they would receive RPG fire, and then the person flying the Chinook would be a GM, and they would set the helo to smoke, and they would climb up a mountain, and eventually they would radio to everyone like this whole like we had this whole big script, right? It was like um losing engine controls, stick going loose, mayday, 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 uh, you know, engines on fire. I'm going down, going down, going down, and then we would just put it into the dirt right where there was an actual vanilla Chinook crash,
Mm,
and kind of like out of everyone else's point of view, but they still saw the explosion, and
mm.
then they had to go up and they had to secure the pilot or the crashed crew, and then they had to fly out of there in a brand new Chinook after they secured the LZ, right? Because the LZ they actually had was down in like a valley, so it's obviously probably not the best, right? Um, and then the sad part is it's out there somewhere. We actually had a guy on the ground. His name's I don't know if you know him, James, the Australian MilSim dude.
Mm. I've heard of them,
He
yeah.
was there with us recording, right?
No
But
kidding.
it was his first time with us. He didn't know how we moved, and in fact, our infantry guys left them in the dirt because they were moving so fast and so effectively
Mm.
through like this terrain that he was like, "Wait a second." He was trying to get those like settings right or something, and he looked up and everyone was gone. He was like, "Wait a minute," um, and so he recorded it and we were so excited because it went so well and everyone loved the immersion that we brought to it and the comms and everything like that. Like we had everyone set to one comm that no one would talk over except for the guy that was crashing, and no one knew that. It was mainly to them, it was command net. And so that was pretty cool because everyone could hear the comms of the pilot freaking out and the heli about ready to crash, and then it crashed and all I see is explosion, right? It
Mm.
was so cool. Um, and then we were so excited to see the video, so excited to see it. And then he turned around and was like, "Yeah, so I didn't get a lot of good footage for you guys because you were moving too fast. I had no idea how you moved, so I had to delete that clip." And we're like, "No, bro,
That
no."
sucks.
Oh, so if there's one moment I'd love for everyone to see that, like, if you want to see what our unit's about, it would have been that op right there because I hate to say it, no op has come close. But then again, we haven't been on Kunar in a long time because it was on Kunar. We're
That's
on
a good
Godland
map
right
too.
now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Jay, what
Well,
about you?
Um, I think other than that moment, there's two other ones that I was thinking of, and one of them I think we've posted quite a bit actually, and it was
Oh,
an
I know what you're
op where
saying. Yep. I know what
yeah,
you're gonna
we
say.
landed way up north in Kunar on the hills, and it was a dual fast rope insert. One of the Blackhawks was hitting the field, that was me, and then the other one was Taz, and he was hitting a rooftop,
oh,
and we had came in like very hot, like overly fast. I was the lead bird. It came up so fast over the ridge line, and we
Yeah.
both managed to slow our birds down fast enough and drop both the ropes and get our guys on the ground. And I think that was probably one of the cleanest inserts we've had.
Yeah.
As far as any other one, there was one other one that I did, and it was a Chinook pickup off of a cliffside in a base,
Mhm.
and it was part of I think it was part of that op or a later op, and that was a good moment too. I love Chinooks. I'm such a Chinook nerd. I love them. So anything with the Chinook, I would showcase to anybody.
I did send you that stuff, Brock, if you want to show that. But yeah, that was you in the video. You could see Jay's lead heli. We were told by the GM because we had no. Sometimes we like to obviously play the immersion ourselves, and we let our GMs handle the ops and not tell us a thing, right?
mm,
And he was like, "Hey, listen, this village is on a mountain. Okay, recommend you get some height." And me and Jay are like, whatever, bro. We're
Treetops.
fly boys, we're whatever. Treetops, yeah, like we'll fly in low, dude. Holy cow, that was a mistake. Because in the video you can see you can see Jay just like have an IRL oh shit moment. Like his nose just goes up and
mm.
I'm right behind him and my nose goes up, and but the way the camera angles and everything, it's like I don't know how we did it, Jay. That was just like
It's well
clean.
executed. Yeah.
Yeah, like we
Any
hit the
yeah.
treetops and then we came over it and we saw the buildings, but the buildings were in like there was only what like five of them, I think.
Yeah, it was a very small village.
Yeah, we didn't know that. We thought it was a little bit bigger. So when we skimmed the treetops and just came right over the tree line, there was just five buildings right there. We're like, oh shit, there's the village, and we pulled up so fast, and we were very fortunate to remember our skills and remember our what we can and can't do with a bird, and we were able to put it right where we needed to. And yeah, it was pretty cool. That was definitely one of my favorite moments too, Jay.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, putting it all together, getting it done. So, yeah, that's a testament to solid flying. Yeah, fast roping is pretty impressive as well. So good shit. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the thing. You've got some good media, and with everything that you got going with your plans, for your upcoming deployment and everything going forward with Joint Ops, I'm sure there'll be a lot of cinematic stuff, coming down the pike here soon enough. So, looking forward to seeing more as it comes. So, I always like to try to ask a playful question, to our unit leaders out here, because I mean that's the thing. It's even if you're not, like you're not, some kind of, super hardcore SEAL team or Ranger regiment or whatever. If you're not, making people eat dirt, as part of your training exercises, we all take things pretty seriously, when you sit down and think about it. So, with that, I got to ask, you guys are, like I said, you're heavy. You got the aviation down. You've got a heavy, air assault infantry focus here, doing a lot of high speed, low drag kind of ops. But let's say that, anything were possible in Reforger. You had all the mods, all the server settings that you could, need to make it a reality. If you could swap Reaper's setting to any historical era or a fictional universe for that matter. You mentioned a guy who's really into Halo there. I don't know if that's something, but if
Mhm.
you could, like, for a day, for a weekend, switch the genre or the location or the time, where would you go and why?
Oh, dude, easy,
Hmm?
easy. Jay, I hope you say the same thing as me. Go ahead, Jay.
uh, I don't know if I'm gonna say the same thing. I'm not gonna lie. I have no
Okay.
idea. But I got my pilot like loving flying helicopters from Vietnam. All the
Yeah.
Vietnam stuff. I think that'd be a great like era to go through would be a Vietnam era. Some
Yeah.
barefoot pilots and some Hueys and little birds and stuff. I think that's awesome. Some napalm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that stuff's cool.
Vietnam is definitely up there, but my number one would be World War II. World
I
War
was gonna
Got
II,
you,
say well,
man.
man.
that's my number two. That's my
Dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like we did a modern day D-Day in squad with a joint unit. They played the Germans on the beach. We played the Americans with lavs and platoon boats, and we stormed it, and it was so fun. Granted, granted, the other unit they had a very big advantage because I accidentally underestimated the power of dishkas. So
Oh, yeah.
we gave them dishkas. We didn't have the MGs or whatever they're called, sadly. But going off of what Jay said with the Vietnam, yeah, dude, Arma Reforger as a Vietnam game is just mwah, perfect, right? And eventually, we want to host a We Were Soldiers type of event. We were going to host one in January, but one of our lead infantry guys was leaving for school, so we wanted to send him off with a good op, and we stuck with Kunar instead of a Vietnam op. And actually, sadly enough, it was one of it was one of the freaking the day after Arma updated, so all the
Yep.
mods were broken.
Oh,
Yeah, so that sucked. We couldn't do the Vietnam thing. Luckily, we were able to find what mods that worked, and we could make an op that sent him off. And I think Jay, that was the op that we had you ass land the Chinook. That was
Yep.
it's such a good picture. But
Beautiful.
eventually, yeah, we want to do a Vietnam era operation. We like to do those. We like to mix it up. Maybe in the future, D-Day or World War II, if we can find the right map and right scenario and right modder to help us. But yeah, if I had to like say, you know what, tomorrow we're gonna make a whole new MilSim because I'm not right now currently running one, it'd be World War II, hands down.
Yeah.
definitely. Well, that's good. Yeah, I mean, both eras are they have their kind of attractions. Their the different kind of unique aspects that make them enjoyable. Whether it's the weapons, the technology, just the kind of simplified tactics you need to use because you don't have GPS and you don't have drones and all the stuff that we're used to now. But we'll see because there are mods out there. I've seen some guys doing some World War II and some Vietnam ops. I think just yesterday, I think on Arma the Arma platform YouTube channel, one of their community managers was streaming a Vietnam event. So yeah, just keep dreaming and keep that operation in the back of your mind. I think soon enough the time will come where it'll be a good thing to kind of shift gears and enjoy the change of pace.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, you guys definitely Reapers. You guys got a lot good things going here. Up and coming, you're growing. You got solid events. You're planning for for more immersive and memorable story-driven operations coming here in the near future. So I think I've learned a lot about you guys. I'm still checking out your media, and I'm going to have links here in the description below for our audience, so they can get eyes on as well to see what you have. So just wrapping up after all we've covered here, um, you know, I just want to get some final reflections. If you guys had to define Reaper's legacy in a single sentence, what would it be? I mean, how would you put that? And how are you going to take that legacy and build it going forward?
Oof, one sentence is gonna be hard for me.
Yeah, it's challenging. Yeah, it's a tough one.
I would say never stop doing what you're passionate with and what makes you happy.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, I'm
Yeah, we got a that and our saying in the server is Mors ab alto, death from above. Reaper's air assault, man.
so yeah. Well,
Yep.
you bring those two together, and that's what you guys have going. You love coming from above and bringing death with you. But yeah, you're right. You guys got a passion here, and I think you've attracted a lot of like-minded individuals who are joining in, and it just kind of fostering that. So definitely, and I guess it is maybe a little cliche to say the sky's wide open because you guys are air assault, but hey, I mean, if the boot fits, yeah, but no, seriously though, definitely, I'm always I like to track our tier one units, because I mean that's one thing that you guys have with you is a lot of passion. If you want to be high speed, low drag, you got to put a lot into it, and you got to attract a lot of good people in there to help you make it a success. So definitely, I've learned a lot. I hope our audience has as well. Leaders, you guys can learn from each other. We've got the channels on the Discord, so we can keep those comms going. But definitely,
Wait a
gentlemen,
second.
yeah.
Is tier one? I feel so stupid. Is tier one? Did Flash make that based off of like special operations, like tier one units?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was where he was going with that because we got tier one, two,
Oh
and
my
three. So,
gosh.
I mean, hey, like I said, I saw the media. You guys are high speed, low drag. So, if it fits,
Yeah, but apparently two brain cells fighting for third place.
live and learn.
Bro, I just realized that because I was always thinking that, Jay. I was like, dude, why is it tier three, then tier two, then tier one? Why not one, two, three? But after you said that, like,
I
oh,
got you. Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, that makes sense. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So yeah, I can't. I was going to joke about coming from a tier three unit. Actually, my old unit's tier one, but I was like, yeah, I was just an infantry grunt, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Yeah.
anything. So, but now,
Yeah.
good stuff. I mean, it really has been a pleasure having you both, Taz and Jay. Definitely, like I said, I like picking our leaders' brains. Seeing what not only makes you tick, but what it is that you can share with your guys. To keep them on server and have a good time. So, uh, really, just good to have you here, and I'm looking forward to getting this one up online so we can share it with the rest of the community.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. Had
Yeah,
a good time.
it's been fun.
Absolutely. So yeah, like I was saying, I always like to keep track of everybody, see how they're going, loop around in a year, pick up the conversation. But at the same time, comms are always open on the Discord. So if you're listening, if you haven't checked us out yet, check out the Discord, check out the website. We got those links below in the description. But yeah, it's been a good one. We've got a lot of great people, a lot of really dedicated leaders in the community, and a lot of good soldiers who were, joining us along the way. So always looking forward to getting these podcasts up. We've got some more in the works. I'm talking with a couple more leaders, so won't be long, and we'll have the next episode live for you to check out. Till that time, this is C. Brock signing off.